Boba Fett's here. Where? Boba Fett.
Spiking bits.
FFG didn't leave us without a dope beat to step to. After all their X-Wing is said and done, we've got new Star Wars Legion. Scout Troopers coming in hot, $24.95 retail. And the man, the myth, the legend, the Mandalorian beast himself, Boba Fett, is finally here, $12.95. We're going to break down both of these for you right meow. Here you can see everything that comes inside of the box. You got 3 new command cards, 3 upgrade cards. Now these, as we found out with Han Solo, these are called training cards. It's a new icon that's been unlocked. And of course he comes with the gear card for emergency stims that allows him to maybe get the job done for that final F right there. You get the bag of bits for Boba himself, a clear flying stand, a base, his card, and all sorts of tokens and things, activations and mobilizations. What do we got? Aim, all the normal stuff that you would expect. We don't need to talk about that right there. But here you can see how he goes together. And I like how they got the little optional little thruster flame kind of things. Back in the day, I guess when the new movies or the episode 4, 5, and 6 were released, you could put those on your figures. They were little clear kind of plastic pieces that you could put on your figures. They were really fun. And you could put them on there. And now you can kind of optionally put them on there for your smaller scale tabletop miniature Boba Fett as well. And it looks like the little stem kind of goes into the back of his jetpack right there. You can see a breakdown of all that. We are going to actually, let's talk about cards real quick and then we'll put them together, because I'm sure since I got these out right here, we can do it real fast. So your normal initiative pips up here on the right. It definitely seems like FFG wants you, or the studio, whoever makes these cards, I kind of pigeonhole you into how to play him a little bit, but it's not like in a bad way, right? So you've got the whipcord launcher. It's going to be a 1 initiative. So you're going to want to do this when you get close. So you can start to immobilize and lock down units and can rough them up with all this stuff. And he's got arsenal, so he could, in theory, do a lot of damage. And the squad might just run off the board, but they'll have reduced movement, etc., because they're going to have immobilization tokens, but they're also going to have suppression tokens. You're like, but you're going to give them cover if you give them suppression. Well, not so much once we get to some of his other weapons up here, right? So then he's got the flame projector, and I really like how these two pair with his actual weapon. So the flame projector is pretty deadly. You're like, oh hey, it's only blast and spray, it's only 1, but yeah, every model in the unit you're hitting, you get to add dice to his pool, which is pretty ridiculous once you start thinking about it. And he's got that arsenal too. He's the first duder to actually have that. So now you can fire 2 weapons and you can combo your pools right here. So what this doesn't have is impact. So hey, maybe use the flame projector in your wrist rockets, and now you're rocking impacts. You're turning your hits into crits, or at least 1 hit into crit, and you're rolling black dice. So let's be real. I mean, it's just it's a force multiplier. You're gonna get your blast right here. You're gonna get spray, so you're gonna get multiples. You're gonna be ignoring their cover with the blast. So like it's just crazy talk at this point. You can do the same thing. So from long range, most people open Gambit with 3. So you're gonna go 3. You're going to get your rockets at 3 to 4. You're going to get 3 red dice with blast and impact. Pair that with pierce because it seems the obvious choice. Now you're taking away at least one of their armor rolls. So that's pretty cool. And at range 3, that sweet spot, if you got a target at range 3 right there, well, and he's moving 3 to represent his jetpack, right? So definitely pick and choose and combo your stuff, and don't forget that arsenal too. His jump's pretty good too, and it's built in, which is pretty neat as well. Up to hunter and duck for cover when you're going up against something that's already wounded. So maybe use some of your other troopers, or perhaps the scout troopers, because they're going to be probably working their way into positions and doing scouty things. You get an extra aim token. So if you use one of your actions to aim, now you're going to get 2 potentially right here. And re-rolling all of these dice for those combos I just kind of told you, whether you're close, whether you're mid-range, or whatever you want to do right there. I guess you could combo these almost as well. Duck and cover will help keep you under wraps and safe when you're out in the open, using that incredible movement right there as well. He does have impervious, which is pretty dope. Sharpshooter, actually I forgot what sharpshooter does. What does sharpshooter do? Oh, that's right. It subtracts from the defender's cover. So sharpshooter's kind of cool but in a lot of cases you're going to be splashing the blast. So it's good when you're not depending on these command cards from being into play, it looks like right there. And if all hope is lost, don't forget, maybe equip him with emergency stims right there and get the most bang for your buck out of Boba. But remember, he's rocking this black dice. It's got 5 results on it, all of which technically is a hit because Boba's Surge is a crit right there. In a lot of cases, you're going to be turning your hits into crits. So it's pretty much 50. I would say almost, well, if we're going 5, I would say you've got a 3 of 8 chance just to get 1 crit through. So, I mean, it's just, well, of course, I rolled a blank there. There's 3 blanks on this D8. So, Boba Fett definitely seems to be able to bring a lot to the table, and we're not even talking about any additional upgrade cards here, just what comes in the set. He's got 2 training, so you can look outside here for some gear, but man, he is legit so far. I love what I'm seeing. So there's the pieces that we're going to use to construct Boba Fett, and it looks like he actually kind of push fits together pretty well. I was dry fitting him there a second ago, so we should be able, with a little luck, to not have to apply any glue. And I'm not going to put those little flame tips on right there. I want to be able to have a little bit more control over those. So far, I'm loving the detail work here. The parachute pants, flight suit pants, whatever they are, and he's got all sorts of pouches and little indents and craters and things in his armor, just like we've seen before. Now, how is he going to pair up exactly size-wise to something like this Primaris Marine? Well, stick around for like 5 seconds and we'll find out. I lied about 2 things. Well, only one. It's been more than 5 seconds. I was going to glue these on, but then I noticed once I got going that there's no notch for them to lock into, so I'm going to have to grab my X-Acto blade and cut a couple of line scores into there very lightly, and then on here to get the glue to stick. That's a little pro tip to get your stuff to stick to a very flush surface. But overall, man, this model is even more incredible once you put it together. They really came full circle with all of their sculpting prowess when it comes to these figures. This is way better than anything we've seen previously miniature wise. I mean, there's so much detail in here, from the Wookiee braids over his right shoulder. I mean, all the pinning and stuff in his armor. He's even got his melee weapon right here, the boot spikes. If you didn't notice those are right there as well. All of the detail in the cape back here. Now, it isn't as detailed as, say, a Citadel miniature, but I am not disappointed at all. And the little stand just kind of locks in right there, well, when you're not waving them around. And it seems, for the most part, to be... Oh, sorry. So it's a little hemisphere, and it does lock in there once you've got it correctly orientated. Okay, well, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to break it right now. I just had it in there, but you can see here that it is a certain shape, and it locks right up into the backpack right there, and that slots in there. You can see the little shape that it slides into there. So that's it for Mr. The Fets. His backpacks have jets. And here they are, the Scout Troopers. Now, this is the box that come in. We showed you it earlier, and you can see all the different poses right there once they're assembled. We're only going to put one of these bad boys together, but here you can see they're very easy to put together. Once again, it's a single torso with a legs kind of set, separate arms in some cases, but they're doing a firing pose here in at least one of them, it looks like, and then the heavy weapon Deuter up here, along with the Sonic Charge Saboteur over here as well. And the miniatures are in their own separate little baggies, so you don't have to worry about fishing for bits. Gotta love that. We're gonna put one of those together and show it to you here in a second. 2 little things of minis, and you got your Sonic Charge tokens that you can detonate right here, and then your order activations, you know, because you actually have 2 teams here. You've got the strike team, which could be a 2-man team depending on which heavy weapon you equip here, which gives you a pretty low cost kind of solution to taking the 4-man team, plus perhaps also one of the other heavy weapons right here into a normal scout trooper kind of unit. So whatever, it's very similar to how the Rebel Commandos are working, right? You get the emergency stims, you get your sniper rifle, your sonic charges, duck and cover HQ uplink so they can kind of work on their own away from enemy lines. They both have the Scout 1 ability here. So you're going to be able to set them up on a wing and then hopefully get your one movement up the gut and get into some cover or something like that, perhaps, give or take. You know, obviously you don't want to put them out in the open and just get shot. That's kind of stupid, right? Sharpshooter 1, so they're going to be able to pick off and ignore a little bit of cover right there, which seems pretty decent. Black dice for the holdout blasters, they're only at range 2, so you're going to have to, you're going to have to work it a bit, which isn't anything out of the ordinary. But with those kind of dice, the short range is mitigated by the fact that they have sharpshooter, they have the ability to scout, to get up. They've got low profile, or at least on the strike team itself, so you're going to have at least +1 to your cover, hopefully. The charges, you can work, you can work them in, kind of put them near objectives, set up the bombs, and detonate them as needed. The sniper rifle is gonna, it's pretty good. I mean, 2 at unlimited range, 2 blacks rather, 2 black dice. It's gonna have pierce, so again, you're gonna be able to cancel at least one of their save if you can't get through their cover, but you can get through their cover because at least one of them, because they got sharpshooter, right? Seems pretty good. So lots of different combos here all coming into play as well. You can also improve perhaps your cover by taking a suppression if you have a lot of incoming fire. If you're being a nuisance and they notice you, well, hey, you could perhaps use these 2 things together to survive the day, or at least the round, maybe, perhaps. All right, let's take a look at one of the miniatures and get on out of here. So there he is, the sneaky scout moving into position, using that free movement that his abilities confer him. I really love this pose. Very creepy, very solid snake. Love the detail work on here. I mean, the miniatures have just been getting better and better from FFG. Again, not multi-part plastic like Citadel, but hey, I mean, this is by far some of the best Star Wars miniatures we've ever seen, and I am definitely loving it. And here's how he compares up to the Fett Mans right there. So I think they put a little bit of extra love into Fett sculpt, but man, these scouts are very cool indeed. I can't wait to see how they work into Imperial armies out there. I gotta figure out how to work them into mine. Been playing a lot of games lately, and at least in my mind, like, oh, this new mechanic, and oh, this, and oh, that. But yes, also be aware there is a new FAQ that came out just before X-Wing released as well, in June or July, so make sure you check out well, not FAQ, a new rules reference as well. So there's a lot of stuff in there to review. I don't know when the next one will be out, but hey, it is what it is right there. So all these miniatures are currently available, of course, from FFG, but you can get them from less over on Miniature Market or your local game store, whichever is your purview. But man, I'll tell you what, this is a miniature a lot of folks have been waiting for a very long time, and I think FFG definitely knocked it out of the park on that one. So I'm very excited to get some paint on Mr. Fett's here. So that's it for this one. I hope you liked our unboxing and review of the brand new Imperial side Legion Commander and Trooper unit expansions opposite Han Solo and the Commanders that came out, I don't know, like over a month ago. I can't remember anymore. I can't remember the time I wasn't unboxing Star Wars Legion right there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all these posts.
Spiking bits.